Anub'Rekhan. Tank the boss here facing away from the raid. Ranged and healers spread out around the boss. Off tanks tank the adds. The adds cleave and a main priority to nuke down as they spawn periodically throughout the fight. When the adds spawn, they also come with a load of scarabs. If you die, you spawn more scarabs. Kill them. When the boss casts Locust Swarm, your tank needs to kite the boss around the room. The tank can avoid getting hit by the boss by using either a swiftness potion or having a hunter use Aspect of the Pack and running with them. Grand Window Faerlina. Nuke the follower adds first. They randomly charge in silence around them, so maybe kite them out of the group if you can't kill them fast enough. Leave the other adds alive for now. The boss does a Rain of Fire ability, move out of that. Also a Poison Volley, you can cleanse this. The boss will enrage every 1 minute. You need a priest to mind control one of the worshippers and cast the silence on the boss. It will dispel the enrage and kill the ad. On 10 man, all you need to do is kill a follower ad to dispel the boss. Maexxna. Tank this boss in the middle of the room facing away from everybody else. Have 2 off tanks pick up all the small spiders in the room throughout the fight. They tend to spawn on opposite sides of the room. Group them up and AoE them down. Every now and then the boss will web wrap 3 people, which knocks you back to the edge of the room and cocoons you. Have a group of ranged assigned to attack these webs to get people out. Every 40 seconds the boss will cast Web Spray, which will stun everyone in the raid for 8 seconds. Use your pre-hop the tank and maybe pop some cooldowns too if you need. Dispel poisons, use nature resist pots or gear if you suck. Kill it! Noth the Plaguebringer. The main mechanic of this fight is all about decursing Curse of the Plaguebringer, which if left too long will wipe the raid. You can tank this boss wherever. He'll cast a blink which will slow everyone around him and drop aggro. DPS should hold off attacking him until the main tank gains aggro back. The blink usually coincides with ads spawning, off tanks pick them up and DPS should swap to them and nuke them down. After 90 seconds the boss will teleport away and you'll have to kill all the ads. The boss will stay here until the ads are dead or until 90 seconds has passed. This will happen 2 more times, 110 seconds after he reappears, and again 3 minutes after the second time he reappears. Heigan the Dirty. Get ready to kick people from your guild because this is without doubt the easiest boss in the game ever. The boss has a mana burn aura around him, so healers in range stand on the boss podium, whilst your melee and the tank the boss on the lower ground. Tank him here to begin with. The main mechanic will begin shortly. The room is split into 4 parts in which sludge will come out of the ground in 3/4 of the room. Avoid this. The sludge will move across the room from left to right and back, repeating until the second phase. Also, the boss will teleport people outside the room, run back before phase 2 begins. The second phase is simply the same eruption mechanic, just a bit quicker, and the boss teleports to the podium so now the melee can laugh at the massively inferior ranged and healers fail at this mechanic. Repeat, kill the boss! Loatheb. This boss is a big DPS race. Spores will spawn throughout the fight that when they die will give 5 people around them a 50% increased critical strike bonus and no threat gain. Don't let this hit your tanks. You need to make sure everyone gets this buff ASAP, starting with your biggest pumpers. The main mechanic of this fight is Necrotic Aura, which you will cast every 20 seconds. This reduces all healing done by 100% for 17 seconds, which means you have a 3-second window to top up the tank and heal the raid. You do only need 1 tank for this, however if you are struggling to keep them alive you can have the off tank taunt when the main tank gets low. Roundman. This fight has pretty much one tactic, which is Hateful Strike. This deals a lot of damage to a person in melee range that both has the most health and is within the top 4 of threat. This won't hit your main tank. It is a good idea to have at least 4 tanks to be able to soak these hits. Heal up the off tanks ASAP so they can continue soaking the Hateful Strikes. At 5% the boss will enrage, so maybe hold cooldowns for that, otherwise he also enrages at 7 minutes, so get ready to make quick work of Patchwork. Grobbulus. Pull this boss to the edge of the room, he drops a poison cloud on his location which expands over time, so you want to slowly kite him around the entire edge of the room the whole time. Make sure the main tank is the only one in front of the boss as he casts slime spray which spawns a slime for every target that is hit. Nuke these down. He will randomly inject players with mutating injection. The debuff lasts for 10 seconds and when it expires it deals AoE damage and drops a poison cloud. Make sure to run away from the group when you get this and drop the poison cloud in a suitable location so you're not going to mess up the tank route 30 seconds down the line. At 30% he injects players more frequently, so kill the boss before you run out of room. Gluth. Tank this big boy facing the door. The boss casts a 10% healing reduction every now and then, so swap at 4 to 5 stacks. The boss will also fear everyone within 20 yards every 20 seconds, so either fear ward the tanks or prepare to die. Hunters need to trank shot the enrage every 10 seconds. Zomboids will spawn near the grate at the back of the room. You need to have DPS aggro and kite these, but keep them as far back as possible. Try to avoid getting hit by them, slows and novas are very epic. Every 105 seconds the boss will cast Decimate. This drops all the zombies to 5% health and they will begin walking to the boss. You need to kill them all before they reach him, otherwise they heal him. After the third Decimate the boss will permanently enrage, so kill it quick. Thaddius. For the first phase you need to split your raid into 2 groups. Both groups need healers and a tank, but the groups need to be melee in one and ranged and casters in the other. The melee group goes to Fergus, whilst the range group goes to Stallone. Stallone does a bit more damage than Fergus, but Fergus drains mana. Kill them both within a few seconds of each other. Jump over this ledge, kick anyone that doesn't make it first try. 2 raid-wide debuffs will appear on you. This is the polarity mechanic. You will be assigned a charge of positive or negative. Split the room into 2 sides with negative on the left and positive on the right. Tank the boss in the center of the platform. If you're stacked with the wrong polarity, you will cause and take damage from everyone around you. If you're in the correct polarity, you will get a big DPS buff. Every 30 seconds your polarity might change, so pay attention. You have 5 seconds to get to the right side before the effect begins. Thaddius has a 5-minute enrage timer, kill that boss. Instructor Razuvious. For 25 man you need at least 2 priests. The tactic of this fight is to mind control an ad and then taunt the boss. You want to use the bone shield ability and tank for its duration. When it's close to running out, have another mind controlled ad taunt with their bone shield up. Keep repeating this whilst you DPS down the boss. On 10 man there will be orbs you can click whilst targeting an ad which will mind control it, so you do not need a priest. It's worth resetting your mind control after someone has taunted off you so that it doesn't passively drop when you're tanking. Have your tanks ready to pick up the ads when they drop. You should also heal these ads when they are mind controlled, as your regular tanks are too petite to withstand a blow from this mighty boss. GothChick. This boss is a lot easier to manage than in vanilla. Just have everyone in the raid stay on the live side, kill ads that spawn, and then keep an eye on the dead side ads coming through the gate throughout the fight. After a time ads will stop spawning and the boss will teleport down to one side. He does a shadow bolt that does nothing, so just kill him and move on. The 4 horse body type 1s. The basis of this fight is to have at least 1 person on a boss at all times. The front 2 bosses can be moved, the back 2 will stay stationary after you pull. Each boss will put a stacking aura on anyone around them. Try not to go above 4 stacks. Have a healer and DPS combo tank the back 2 bosses and swap sides when they reach 4 stacks. Note that you don't need to be stood in melee range, just in their aura. Pull the front 2 bosses together and kill them. DPS should stack whilst Thane is still alive for Meteor. Once they're dead, move to the back of the room, watch out for void zones on the ground at Lady Bamo. Sir Pipperon. Pepperoni does a lot of frost damage, so heal it. While on the ground you will need to avoid blizzards and decurse life drain on players. When the boss flies up into the air, it will ice block 5 targets. The ice block also does AoE damage when it's first cast, so spread out if you can. The boss will then cast Frost Breath, which will one-shot everyone. To avoid this, all you need to do is hide behind one of the 5 ice blocks. Now you just rinse and repeat until this boss is dead. Phase Clan. Phase 1. Adds will spawn. Have your tanks pick up the abominations, which deal a stacking mortal wound on the tank. Melee should nuke this down. Range should kill the soul weavers, as they'll knock people back when they get in melee range. The range will also need to kill the soldiers of the frozen waste as soon as possible, as they deal AoE damage on the entire raid when they hit someone. When phase 1 is over, Phase Clan will be active. He cannot be taunted. You should try and pull him to the center of the room and have your raid spread out around the boss. Melee should form a diamond shape around him. You will need to have an interrupt chain for Frostbolt, as this is a one-shot ability. Every 10 seconds he can cast Shadow Fissure, which you simply step out of. Every 15 seconds he can cast an uninterruptible AoE Frostbolt. Every 20 seconds he can cast Mana Detonation, which depletes someone's mana by 50% and causes AoE damage. Every 30 seconds he casts Frostblast, which freezes a player and anyone around within 10 yards of them. It will continue to freeze anyone within 10 yards for the remainder of its duration. You need to just heal through this until Frostblast wears off. Finally, every minute the boss will mind control the tank and 4 more players, so your off tank needs to have secondary threat. You should CC the mind controls, threat is also dropped. Phase 3 starts at 40% health. It is exactly the same as phase 2, but 5 adds will spawn. You can shackle 3 of them, but 2 of them must always be tanked. When a raid member dies, they will gain a 15% damage increase. You should ignore these adds and DPS power through on the boss. Keep up interrupts and spreading, and you too can kill this boss.